Hey guys, and welcome to my page. Today we're going to talk about the Pomodoro Method and how you can use this technique to really increase your productivity and get your work done. Now, we've all been there. We procrastinate and then we have to work 5 hours at once. No one likes that, so let me fix that for you and let's get started. Now, if you're new here, my name is Arslan and I make videos on productivity and efficiency so you can get your work done early and start living your life. Now, if you'd like to join me on my journey, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Now, my last video talked about a few different study strategies, but this one's going to talk about Pomodoro, and I'm putting a magnifying glass on this because I want to get this down. I really like this method, but it has its flaws. So the idea here is basically creating a time pressure where we're creating mini deadlines of 25 minutes at a time. So the Pomodoro method basically goes as follows. We work for 25 minutes, and then we take a 5-minute break. Then we work for 25 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. And we keep doing that until we're done with 4 cycles, and then we take our long break. But the issue here is that these numbers are arbitrary. It literally comes from a kitchen timer that looked like a tomato. That's where the Pomodoro idea comes from. So let's put our own scientific approach and really figure out how we can go about maximizing each study session. So the idea here is when you're first starting to study, your mental focus is at its peak and you start going down and down and down and down. And then you get really distracted and you're not able to focus at that point. You've basically drained your mental juice. But the idea of the Pomodoro method is you start going down, and then as soon as the 25-minute hits, you take a break and then you restart at the top. So you keep kind of refreshing and rejuvenating your focus juice, which sounds good in theory. But the thing is, the mental sharpness goes down. Yes, I agree with that. But our focus actually goes up in the first little while of studying. So think of it like this. We have 2 different graphs. One is your mental clarity throughout your entire day, and one is your focus period during your study period. So your mental clarity throughout your day only goes down. So that's like, think of it like your gas in a car. And then think of your focus graph as more of your specific, it's like your acceleration. You can go up and then down and up and down based on how you're studying, but your mental clarity is your gas, so that just keeps going down throughout your day. So you really want to maximize your miles per gallon by studying efficiently and really working your way up to your optimal study period and then cutting off and taking a break to rejuvenate. And so when you start working, you get 25 minutes in and your focus starts going up because you're more in the zone. And you know this as the flow state if you read the book Deep Work. So you essentially start focusing and your focus starts going up, and then you're cutting it off, and then it goes up and you're cutting it off. Meanwhile, your mental juice is going down. So you're still on your downward track, but your upwards flow keeps getting cut off. So you're never reaching your optimal study flow state. And not only that, you're cutting it off instead of continuing and getting the maximum amount of work done. So after the 3rd or 4th cycle, your mental juice is at the bottom, and your focus state doesn't even get to the flow state. It just keeps getting cut off. So the idea of a flow state starts kicking in around 25 to 30 minutes. I mean, there's no real time, it depends on all of us, but that's the optimal time you want to study before you start cutting yourself off. And the 25 minutes really always gets in the way of that flow state. So what I've noticed is every single time I do a 25-minute timer, I always start going over the 25 minutes because I'm like, I'm in the zone. Might as well keep going until I genuinely want to take a break. So ask yourself, when you're studying, how long can you go before your mental clarity and your focus starts declining? So when you're first starting off, you're going to go to the top, you want to stay there for as long as you can, and then you feel yourself dropping off, and that's when you want to take the break. So what I like to propose is 3 things. First, when you're starting your study session, you want to write down your goals for the entire study session. So if you want to sit down for 4 hours and work, write down what assignments you want to get done, what other tasks you want to get done, and then get started. So the second thing you want to do is write mini goals for each of the mini study sessions. So if you're working 25 to 45 minutes, you want to write down, okay, I'm going to get the intro paragraph done in my first study session, and then I'm going to do the first body paragraph in the second study session. So this really creates a mini deadline for you for each study session, and that'll keep that time pressure on you to really get the work done but not overly stress yourself out. And most important thing you want to do when you're starting your study session is keep in mind how long you can study without losing that focus. So you want to keep that really sharp focus, and as soon as you feel it start declining, that's when you take your break. And so this brings me to the break period. Now, what do you want to do with the break? How long do you want to keep your break? What do you want to do during the break? Do you want to eat popcorn? Do you want to eat Doritos, drink a soda, or just go to sleep? I would not recommend the last one. Now guys, before we move on to the next tip, it would mean the world to me if you'd like and subscribe if you learned anything of value in this video. As a new YouTuber, each and every one of you mean the world to me, and I would really appreciate your support. So let's keep going. Now what I do with my breaks is I take the total time I've worked and I divide it by 3. And that gives a slightly longer break, but there's a reason for that. So a lot of people say, oh, that's too much time off, oh, you're taking a break too long, you're gonna lose your focus. But I really think that if you're giving yourself too short of a break, that does a few things. For one, you're not gonna enjoy the study process at all. Like, you're barely getting a break time, barely getting that little gift at the end to enjoy yourself. By the time you get up to make coffee, you're already done with your break period. So you'll be back to studying and you won't get any real break time. And that brings me to my second reason I hate short breaks, is because you're not getting to enjoy it. And that means it's not gonna be sustainable. You're really, like, you need to be enjoying the process to come back to it over and over. And if you're taking a 5-minute break after 25 minutes, I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But if it doesn't, take a slightly longer break. It's not hard and fast rules. So as long as it's sustainable, that's the main point you want to try to get. The consistency is worth way more than the time period you're working. And I think that itself is the biggest thing you want to keep in mind. Now I'd like to ask you, have you ever used the Pomodoro method? And if you have, what did you guys think of it? And if you want to learn more about study strategies, check out this video and this video. I'll see you next time. Click it. You're supposed to click it, yeah.